say, damage absorbing shields.
Yes.
As for Malphite, it's his passive. As for JLC, it's his Q ability.
Yeah, and the damage absorbing shield from JLC, the Dark Sphere, the Null Sphere, will actually help in laning against Lolita, as a lot of the magic damage coming in from the Malphite will be neglected, negated
Okay.
with that JLC Null
Right.
Sphere pick.
But as the game progresses, Ace's Fate did go in for that mid lane Lissandra. So
Yeah.
even if you guys know that top lane Lissandra is more in for that CC heavy utility based type of champion, a mid lane Lissandra, let's say is similar to that, but then she has the burst potential just because
more
she builds
focus on burst.
just because she builds more AP, sorry.
Yeah,
And DFG into that frozen tomb has a lot of burst.
yeah, and there's a lot of follow-up CC with this burst that you're talking about. We do have, like I said earlier, Graves and Malphite. Malphite could actually build AP if he wanted to further add to this burst coming in from
Assassin
that.
Malphite is
So you got
real, guys.
Yeah, so Malphite dives in, the Stauncher dives in, Nocturne dives in, then you got that burst follow-up from that Graves with the Thresh diving in.
Actually, for the team composition of Ace's Fate, they don't actually need to go in for a Malphite that's super tanky.
Yeah.
They can actually opt for Nocturne to be that tanky type of engager for them,
Yeah.
and then Malphite can just follow up with they can follow up from the Paranoia of Nocturne, and then follow up with the Malphite, and then a pick from the Lissandra, and then there's the backline from the Graves and the Peel of the Thresh. As for GameX War Gods, they have let's say a lot of global presence ganks, with of course the Twisted Fate and the Kassadin.
Yeah, they'll be looking to snowball the early game with the picks they have. They do have that Lee Sin and they do have that Twisted Fate. So once Twisted Fate hits 6, they will be trying to force clashes in that bot lane or probably in that top lane. And War Gods needs to get ahead in this early game in order to win the game.
Yes,
if they fall behind in that early game, then they already lost, I guess.
Because Ace's Fate just has that really good composition. It's not super snowball heavy, but it's that if they start snowballing, they just get tankier and then have more damage at the same time. Yeah. Also, early jungle wise, Ace's Mayo, Ace's Mayo does have that Nocturne, and Nocturne is really an aggressive early game jungler just because his Q ability does give you bonus AD, I believe.
Yeah, however, Nocturne is one of those farming type champions, seeing as his wave clear is just really strong. He has really strong wave clear. We'll most likely be seeing Skill trying to go aggressive onto Mayo in the jungle, while Mayo just tries to farm up to level 6 in order to provide that global ultimate with that Paranoia.
Yeah, but we will see though. I mean, Skill isn't much of that aggressive counter jungler.
Yeah,
he's more of an aggressive ganker.
He's really good at responding to those ganks, which is pretty good against a Nocturne where it's necessary that you're able to.
Yeah, he ganks out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So that Skill needs to use that skill sixth sense that a pro player needs to counteract this Nocturne who can just come out of nowhere actually.
Yeah, so it will be interesting to see the dynamic between these two junglers as this game pans out.
Yeah. Also for the bot lane duo, for both team composition, what do you think? Who has the advantage? Who has the disadvantage? Or what can they do to get the advantage against the other opposing duo?
I feel like the Ace's Fate bot lane has the advantage based on their performance in game 1 and based on just the champions they've selected. Graves Thresh is just a much stronger lane compared to Corki Morgana. While there is a bit of burst potential coming in from Corki Morgana, coming in with that. So once a binding lands, you can follow that up with a phosphorus bomb and a rocket, and then the soul shackles. I just feel like Graves is just a really strong lane bully, and Thresh, even though they do have that black shield to stop the hook from going on to them, it's Thresh. He's like, if you max hook, that gives you enough damage to actually destroy the black shield if Morgana opts to not level up the black shield. So you can destroy the black shield with the hook, go in, then play. And if you maxed E, then you wouldn't be able to play, seeing as his black shield would still be up.
Alright guys, this is game 2 of set 2 for the GPL. It is Ace's Fate versus GameX War Gods. Again, Lolita will be in the top lane Malphite, and Mayo will be the jungler Nocturne. As for Jinky, he will be the mid lane Lissandra. Slay will be the ADR, Graves and Akihu will be our support Thresh. As for GameX War Gods, it will be JLC for the top lane Kassadin, Skill will be the jungler Lee Sin, Achi will be the mid lane Twisted Fate, VYY for the ADR Corki, and Stronger for that support Morgana. Already, lots of let's just say early game poking coming in from both teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see right there that there are defensive wards coming in from both teams, all placed in the river. They don't want any of those, what like you've said, cheese picks, and whoa, Skill is putting a lot of damage onto Mei right now.
Yeah, so Nocturne is pretty weak in the early game. Nocturne doesn't really have that much sustain coming to that jungle, so
Yeah,
he is
this is
pretty vulnerable to those ganks. The passive, while providing a bit of lifesteal, is on a pretty long cooldown and not that enough. Like, you should see Nocturne getting pretty low in the jungle during the initial clear, and Lee Sin might decide to capitalize on that, even though, like we've established, Skill isn't really that aggressive of a counter jungler. However, in this matchup, it might be beneficial for them to actually be on the aggressive side.
Yeah, I can see right now that JLC and Skill will start on the Krogs, and ooh, VY, actually this is going to be a lane swap. Yes, it will be a lane swap.
Yeah, that is a lane swap. Looking to shut down that Kassadin. Kassadin has a pretty favorable matchup against Malphite, like we established earlier, being able to just negate the damage coming in with the Null Sphere.
And also his passive actually lets him tank a lot more magic damage just because it's resilient to that. I can see right now that Akihu might spot out Skill and JLC here. Will he be able to look at it? He does put that ward in and ooh, misses. Yeah, he doesn't see them and they don't see him.
Yeah, so JLC deciding to just group up with Skill, trying to get a bit of XP, knowing that he'll be zoned out in that top lane.
Now they see him. They are going in for with that buddy system for GameX War Gods, so this is a really nice composition for them just because JLC knows that he can't win a 2v1 at the top lane, so he's just getting the XP from Skill, just a little bit.
Yeah, Lolita has also been doing the same with Mayo, knowing that it's a pretty hard lane for Malphite in that bot lane as well, so they're just doing their best to just soak up as much XP to stay as relevant as they can in that early game, knowing that they'll be zoned out in the lanes.
Also, the advantage of the buddy system, I guess until level 3 for the top laners, is that the waves don't push as fast as you think they can, because it's level 1 and they don't have that let's say fast push power from both ADRs.
Yeah, so we do see that the lane swap strategies have differed quite a bit. It looks like the ASF team has opted to just freeze the lane in the top lane while Akihu roams, while War Gods is opting for that really fast push, trying to get that turret as fast as they can. However, I feel like ASF has the better strategy, as Malphite will be able to just simply teleport in and just soak up as much XP, since that wave is just like right next to his turret.
Yeah, actually this is a nice strategy in from War Gods as well, just because in my opinion the damage spike from Corki having earlier Triforce will outmatch the itemizations coming in from a Graves who only has probably an Infinity Edge. That's just my opinion. I think that's why they're trying to really focus in on this bot tier 1 to get that early gold advantage, and just to let the Corki get that gold and finish his Triforce earlier.
And it looks like this will be actually a 4v0 in the bot lane. ASF giving up that bot lane turret for that War Gods team, and that is 3 members taking down that turret, and 4 minutes in and the first turret's already gone, so
yeah. Actually, if they don't let someone defend that bot tier 2, it will get a lot of damage just because VYY and Stronger have very good, let's say, early game damage and clear wave potential. And whoa, this is a gank onto Achi there, forced the flash out of him. There's a stun on the Jinky, and the card will not hit.
And now, wow, War Gods is still pushing.
Yeah, like I've said before, they're using the wave clear potential that the Morgana and Corki have to push, and now they're putting a lot of damage onto that tier 2 already. Look at that, 1/4 already. And now they are using Akihu to try and help with Lolita, and this might stave off the aggression coming in from War Gods.
Yeah, so this is pretty reminiscent of the 4v0s we saw
before
in that season 4. Yeah, so the correct way to respond to that the majority of the time was to send your support to that top lane along with your top laner, so it'd be a 2v4, and the 2v4 would usually be enough to stop the push and make them back away, and that's what they just did. They had the Thresh and Malphite come down to that bot lane and Wargod's backed off.
I guess that is a good strategy, but also a counter strategy to that is that if the team that's doing the 4v2 siege is actually good at juggling the tower aggro, they could actually tower dive that and get free kills for them. But
Yeah,
we'll never know. We're not sure yet, just yet, if if Wargods is capable of that.
yeah, and
But
then
you can see right now there's
they're
a 3v.
starting dragon.
Yeah, they're gonna start dragon, but they do spot it out. Yes, that ward did spot it out. I think. Yes, Aki who will ward off this dragon, and if they start out, they will be seen.
Yeah, however, Nocturne is quite far away in that, taking the wolves right now, and Nocturne isn't really, like I said earlier, not the strongest jungler in the early game, and however, Wargod's...
Ooh, Aki who gets spotted out here. Skill is in the vicinity. Will there be a dark binding coming out stronger? But it misses, but gets the kill.
Yeah, despite that, they still manage to get... Morgana still manages to secure the kill, and because of that, that's a 1.6k gold advantage in favor of Wargods, getting that first blood and getting that first turret.
Yes,
and
but while that was happening, let's just say Slay has been farming in the top lane for quite some time right now. Look at that, 10 gold advantage, and there's the ultimate coming
wow,
out of
that
Jinx.
Black Shield!
Black Shield OP!
Yeah, that Black Shield was extremely clutch, preventing the death of Skill in that mid lane.
Yeah, but even though, like I've said before, Slay is getting that free farm at top, the bot tier 1 and the assist onto VYY gives him, stabilizes the gold lead. Look at that, there's like 100 to 200 gold lead coming in from VYY right now.
And yeah, with that, it looks like...
Ooh,
wow,
Slay might get caught out here. Ochi doesn't have the flash though. He'll be forced to not connect that gold card of his. I guess that's what's a little bit of a bad destiny coming from him.
Ochi just forcing it a bit too hard. I think if he took a little bit more time, went a bit more patient, he would have been able to secure that kill.
Or he could have destinied a little bit further in the lane.
Yeah.
But you can see right now that they are getting the blue buff, and Ochi gets the blue buff. Okay, I thought he would have gone to Jinky.
Yeah, Jinky stole that blue. However, that's not the case.
Yeah, so very aggressive tactics coming in from Wargods early on. They're really putting the pressure onto Ace's Fate, and Ace's Fate is really there you go. They're trying to bait it out, and will get the stun. Gets the stun onto Akiu. Akiu gets bursted down, and BYY will get that kill. Nicely played there from GameX Wargods, and this will be the dragon, if I'm not mistaken.
It's kind of a taste of their own medicine in Game 1, as in Game 1 we saw the Thresh kept on getting caught out and getting picked off by the Morgana buying the stuff, and now in Game 2 it's the opposite, and now it's Ace's Fate's Thresh that's been getting picked out.
So what you're saying is that the Thresh is cursed?
I guess so, in a way.
Okay, bad puns coming in from the GS casters. Oh, there's the collateral damage coming out of Slay, but not enough damage to get it.
I'm not sure why Skill didn't use his smite. That was actually really risky coming in for that Wargod's team. Skill did have smite available the entire time, however opted to not smite it.
I think he was just baiting out Mayo Yu to flash in and try to get the smite steal, but it wasn't there. Ooh, Akiu misses the flay there.
And yeah, actually this will be a AP Kassadin for JLC. I guess Kassadin had been struck by a couple nerfs, like several nerfs recently, so...
Yeah. But the AP Kassadin is still a viable
is still viable
build, because he really stacks into that late game. He's that real assassin.
But I was hoping for the AD Kassadin.
Maybe it's next time. Or
yeah, maybe next time.
Or actually, you could do it in the PGS with the support AD Kassadin.
Yeah, support AD Kassadin. I'll think about it.
Yeah, okay. Because the support Ashe is working. And there, Jinky gets caught, uses the Frozen Tomb onto Ochi, but Ochi is having that Black Shield to kite for him, and whoa! That Q ability gets the kill onto him, and now Lolita is here for the follow-up Unstoppable Force used on Stronger, and they will die. Aki who gets the last hit, and that was a 2-for-1 exchange.
Yeah, that was really good response by Lolita. It was actually a really weird Black Shield timing coming in from Stronger. It wasn't fast enough to stop the Glacial Prison coming in from Jinky, but it was also not. But it was also too early to prevent the Q coming in for that. Coming in from Jinky as well. So if it was a bit too if it was earlier or if it was a bit later, Oshi would have probably been still alive, or actually he would have died to Lolita instead.
Yeah, also, that was a little bit of a questionable, let's say, turning back from Ochi. He got into the range of Jinky and got queued to death
Yeah, however, he did, and he didn't actually pick up the kill. So the purpose of that was to try to secure that kill for
for
him.
Ochi.
Yeah, so he'd be a bit more ahead, have that 350 gold in his pocket,
Yeah,
300 gold in his pocket.
for the Lich
Yeah.
Bane already.
However, that did gold to Stronger, and Stronger's actually 2-1 right now, 66% of their team
The
kills.
carry supports, man.
Yeah, and he's picked up a bit of nice items for himself. Already has that Sightstone and those mobility boots coming in for them.
Right. Also for the 80 sorry, for the AP mids, Jinky already has that Morellonomicon build. So even though it's not a DFG, Morellonomicon is a good substitute because the CD that the cooldown that it gives lets that Glacial Prison be used more often.
Yeah, and we've seen a couple mid laners actually going for that double Morellonomicon, opting for that extra cooldown reduction. And Morellonomicon actually has one of the higher AP in the game. I believe it gives 80 AP, which is
Yeah.
pretty high compared to the other ability hour items. Along with the cooldown reduction, it provides 20% cooldown reduction,
So
and
double
mana
means
regen.
40%
Yeah,
already.
so it's just really cost efficient to get that, and you might see that coming in from here.
Yeah. So if in a champion such as Lissandra, it's actually a very good composition.
Yeah,
But I guess before against Team Diamond, Nage tried to do that with the LeBlanc,
Yeah.
but it's not as effective just because LeBlanc is an assassin. But
Yeah,
you need to build assassin items for her.
while Lissandra can be played as a more sustained damage type of thing,
True, very
making
true.
just like getting that glacial path up more is really important, and getting that snare root with that W is also really important. And glacial prison is actually a pretty important part of that Aces Fate team, so having it up more will be pretty beneficial for them.
Okay, so during the pause mode, you can still check the gold advantage. So we can see right now that VYY has a 3,446 already to his net cost compared to Slay's 2,187. So in terms of goal advantage, they are winning in terms of the
Yeah,
ADRs.
so that's mainly attributed to that turret that they have, that one kill on BYY, as well as that dragon that was picked up. And
Yes.
BYY does have that Phage and Sheen, and he's out trading Slay at this point, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if um GameX Wargods decides to just go back to standard laning now that BYY has the advantage.
Also, the first dragon did go into GameX War Gods. I mean,
That's
first
6%
dragon is
damage.
yeah. It's really important for GameX War Gods to get that first dragon, just because it adds to the damage of the Corki, of the Cassidon, of the Twisted Fate, and those champions don't actually have a lot of damage items right now.
Yeah.
That 6% can really turn the tide into their favor. As for Ace's Fate, it's not as let's say it's not as important to get that first dragon for them, just because they already have a lot of damage coming in from the Lissandra, Unstoppable Force, and then the Nocturne, of course.
Yeah, and the early game for Wargods is really important to determine the result of this game, and having that dragon buff with that 6% extra damage will help quite a bit in ensuring that Wargods has this proper early game they need to snowball the game to their favor and to a victory.
Yes, that is very important. Alright guys, again, I would like to invite you to the PGS Rift. It's a really, let's say, supporting family. There's a lot of custom games there, like you've said before, the mini games, Donger Dash, Ultimate Bravery, and of
Yes.
course, IPT Teru's very own Kill Hunt, which is a game that actually you start at level 1, your only strategy there is to kill champions. Your only, let's say, terrain to move around is the jungle, and then you can only get items such the only banned items there is sort of the occult and Media Soul Stealer, and no trinket and wards.
Yeah, and speaking of IPT Tarot, there are a lot of pro players that stop by from time to time, just there to talk to the fans, talk to them, get just a really good opportunity to get to know
Yeah,
the people that play this game.
so you have a lot more exposure on
Yeah.
the PH teams. Like if you don't know who those people are, how they actually play, you could try and go into the PGS Rift and ask for yourself.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're back into the game right now. Again, there is almost a 2,000 goal advantage coming in from Wargods right now. VYY looking really strong already, almost about to finish his Trinity Force. Oh, sorry, not about 1,000 gold, I believe. I can see right now that skill will be giving that blue buff onto Ochi, and this might be, oh sorry, top side. It might be a gank from JLC and Stronger right now. There's JLC and Lolita. There's the stun, force the flash out of him. Doesn't have the unstoppable force to dash away, but that was a successful gank. Force the flash out of Lolita.
Yeah, so Malphite is pretty tanky at the moment, and JLC doesn't really have the damage as well, and Morgana doesn't really have the damage as well. So it's pretty good, considering that gank was really successful as they managed to burn out that flash, which will be really important coming into this next dragon fight and coming into the siege coming in from that War God side.
War Gods tried to get a pick from Ace's Fate with a Destiny, but was a little bit Ace's Fate was a little bit too condensed. That they weren't able to, War Gods wasn't able to get any free picks.
Yeah, Ochi doesn't have that hourglass available, so he won't be able to do those suicidal destinies, not just yet.
Not just yet, ganks. Okay. JLC's actually really farming heavily on this top lane. He already has 59 CS compared to Lolita's 43. And like you see right now, he does have the Catalyst and Protector, so probably his first item will be either the Rod of Ages or the Tear to Goddess first.
Well, like, so from Lolita, we do see that he also has picked up a Catalyst, and this could also be a Rod of Ages, or it might be a Righteous Glory, which, based on what the rest of the Ace's Fate team comp is, I wouldn't be surprised if he decides to pick up that Righteous Glory.
Yeah, Righteous Glory is actually a really good, let's say, price reasonable item. It's a combination of random, cost efficient. There you go. Thank you very much, yes, Neep.
Yes.
It's a very good item. They combine Radowitz and
wow.
Okay, that was a
There's the burst.
There's the burst coming in from like we said, Jinky and Maoyu and Slay. They follow the AoE from the collateral damage, and the Frozen 2 puts a lot of damage onto Skill and Ochi.
They had like full HP, and then at one moment they had full HP, and then like 2 seconds later, both of their HPs were gone.
And then it went like,
yeah, the Glacial Tomb, then that Paranoia, followed up by that Buckshot collateral damage. That's scary.
Yeah, and that almost 2,000 gold advantage from Game as 4 Gods was turned around by Ace's Fate, or Ace's Fate already rotating to this top lane, and I think they will get it.
Yeah, however, Ace's Fate does not have their ultimates available, so this is a bit problematic coming in. They do have lots of ways to negate that.
There's a nice hook onto Stronger by Akihu, and now Jinky will be forced to flash out. There's the box coming in from Akihu, taking a lot of damage. Here's Skill. There's a lot of flashes being burned up. There's the Q from the Lee Sin, force the flash out of Slay right there, and no blood has been shed, but a lot of flashes have been burned.
Yeah, so the Sonic Wave didn't land onto the Ace's Fate team, which might have enabled Morgoth to make some plays, and looks like Skill's still hungry for those plays.
Yeah, they're trying to really put the aggression onto Aces right now. They don't want to give that tier 1, that's because it does give that global gold. Even though it's not as big as before, it's still a viable objective as of now, just because there's no dragon, there's no mid lane, there's no mid turret anymore, and bot lane is already being pushed by Lolita.
Yeah, Ace's Fate doesn't have their ultimates available, so their combo's not available.
Oh wow! The damage from VYY is real. That Triforce is just wrecking face right now. He might be able to go into Slay. There's the flash in from Stronger, but the Dark Binding misses. Here's Slay right now, trying to get the kill onto VYY. VYY will be able to not kill him, and there's a double kill by Maoyu onto JLC and VYY there.
Yeah, so the Dark Binding didn't connect from Stronger, as well as the Rockets. They just didn't connect. That Slay really tricky, really slippery.
Yeah, he really baited out that heal of him. He was like one hit away, and now here's Lolita in the backside. Will he be able to get the Stronger? And like you said, Righteous Glory has been purchased for him. There's the ultimate. Oh!
That kick.
He choo-chooed over the tier 1 turret.
And with that,
that gave them the 2-0 and the amazing. Hope you got a replay of that.
Yeah, and Ace's Fate just turned that team fight around.
Highlight of the game, and like you said, they have turned the team fight around. And Slay will die here, and JLC gets the follow-up kill onto him. Now Lolita is in a bad position, doesn't have his flash up anymore. Will he be able to get away from JLC? JLC does have the Rod of Ages, so he doesn't have a lot of damage, but Lolita doesn't have the ability to escape anymore.
However, JLC doesn't have the mana to cast the A Rift Walk once again.
Ooh, VYY is caught up here. Will he be able to escape? There's Jinky with the follow-up. Misses the Q, but the Black Shield just there for the insurance. And one more hit. Will he be able to escape? He does. He is.
One more hit.
One more. Yes, there we go. That's the hit on to Lolita right there after the very long chase. That was a nice reward kill onto JLC right there.
Absolutely. It shows JLC doesn't really have the damage at the moment. However, he will be able to spike in that late game once he picks up more items.
And actually, that was actually a really nice play from JLC. He did go in a little bit too far for Lolita, but he knew that the other members of Ace's Fate were dealing with other members of War Gods.
Yeah, and that was 2 kills in his name from that play.
Yeah, 2 kills in his name, and in my opinion, it's a better 2 kills for the Cassidy rather than giving the 2 kills to Mayo a while ago in the top lane. You can see right now that GameX War Gods have started this dragon with only 4 members. There's the paranoia. Here comes Jinky, uses the ultimate onto herself, and now Ochi is caught up 4v1 already. There was a 2-4-1 exchange now. Dragon did go in favor of Ace's Fate, I believe. Yes.
And yeah, they were able to burst down skill before he could smite the dragon, and as a result, Mayo was just able to pick up that dragon really easily.
Yeah, I guess they tried to calculate how much damage they could try and try to just smite the dragon, but the AoE from Team Ace's Fate is there.
Yeah, Malphite has unstoppable force though, so be careful.
Yeah, might be careful, but Mayo is a bit low in HP right now. But you can see right now that JLC is hovering in the blue side jungle of Ace's Fate. Will he try to get a pick? Lolita does see him out. Wardings coming in from Ace's Fate does see that there are 4 members of War Gods right now. As for War Gods, ooh, okay, there, never mind. He just put that defensive ward there. Now their blue will go to VYY, I believe. Yes, he does get that blue buff right now.
And yeah, War Gods still, despite being a bit behind, they are showing really strong control of the map, being able to still invade the enemy jungle after losing that dragon and after losing those team fights.
Yes, so it's still in favor of anyone right now.
Oh,
ooh, there's the Unstoppable Force onto JLC. I think he will die from this. He gets caught out with that pick off abilities coming in from Ace's Fate. Now Stronger will get bursted down, and the double kill goes to Slay. And now BYY wasn't able to do anything, but because he was trying to split push the top lane, and now he's recalling to reposition for with his teammates.
Yeah, so JLC made a bit of a misplay on that Rift Walk. The Rift Walk didn't go over the wall, tried to dodge that death sentence. However, once he dodged that death sentence, he just got Unstoppable Force, and yeah.
Yeah, the follow-up picks are real. Let's see right now that Slay is a little bit out of position here. There's JLC and Ochi trying to go in on them, but VYY is here. Slay does get the kill onto Slay JLC right there, but he was able to flash off against VYY. Was able to survive that, so that was a 1-for-2 exchange in favor of Team Ace's Fate.
Yeah, so that was VYY wasn't ready for that play coming in from JLC. He went in while JLC was still far behind, and JLC actually and VYY couldn't follow up with that damage to ensure those kills were taken.
Alright, there's the paranoia coming out of Mayu, and he gets the kill onto Ochi. Now VYY super low in HP. There's a nice hook, and Akihu hooks him back onto the box, and the box finishes him off.
Yeah, and that was a really good counter engage once again coming in from Ace's Fate, knowing that all of them were isolated and just taking the kill. This is the power of that Ace's Fate team comp.
Yeah, like we've said before, the Nocturne can gank from any direction, and now JLC is trying to go on Akihu, but Slay is here with the follow-up, uses that smoke screen to blind the blinded man Lee Sin, and what a nice kick from him, gets the shutdown onto Slay. Now JLC is running for his life. The auto attacks from Aki, who isn't enough, gets the double kill onto Skill. Now there's the Dark Binding coming onto Lolita. Now Stronger forced to flash out. There's the Unstoppable Force onto Stronger, but it isn't enough. Now Skill, Stronger, and JLC are starting to back off because Jinky is in the vicinity. Oh man, why didn't you laugh? I said He blinded the blinded man.
Alright, I was a bit slow on that one. But I'd give that maybe a 2 out of 10.
Ouch. Okay, so the puns are not real.
The puns aren't real. But I don't know, that was
It was
pretty good. That was a pretty good play by Wargods. They're able to get away from that play.
Yeah. Bruise free actually. That was a 2 for 0 exchange.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, and now that stabilizes the goal a little bit, but the gold lead is still in favor of Ace's Fate. 2,000 in gold lead.
Yeah, however, I feel like Wargod still has a chance in this.
Oh, definitely.
Once JLC gets his items, once he picks up that, I believe he's going for that hourglass. Once he picks up that hourglass, and once Ochi picks up the death cap, they will be significantly stronger, and they will be able to compete and contest these fights. However, they do need to be careful, as Jinky is going for that hourglass as well, and we do see that Malphite is going for that frozen heart. So
yeah. Also, JLC is does have that Thrall of Ages, so in time it does tend to stack up, so the damage is still growing for the casted of GameX Wargods right now.
Yeah, that is true. And earlier, BIY had the gold advantage. However, it looks like that Slay, Slay is 1,000 gold ahead. Has already picked up his static shift in addition to that Infinity Edge. So that's a lot of damage coming from Slay.
Tons of damage right now coming out of Slay.
Yeah.
Yeah. See right now that in terms of the wardings, you can see right now that Ace's Fate has warded only the entrances of their jungle. As for Dwayne's Wargods, similar, but a little bit of a deep ward there onto the blue side jungle of Ace's Fate.
Yeah, we did see that Wargods earlier tried to contest that blue buff and was able to do so, giving that blue buff towards BYY.
Skill here, putting a little bit too much aggression onto himself, gets the fear onto him, and there's a collateral damage hitting him. Will he die? Now here's a little bit of a clash, a face-off from 5 members of both teams, and Skill was able to get out with his life, but now he is forced to recall, and this dragon might go into Ace's Fate if Team Wargods isn't able to protect it well enough.
Yeah, this is the dragon for Ace's Fate. I don't think Wargods will try to contest. JLC is on that backside, and yeah, they'll just give the dragon away. So that is 2 dragons for Ace's Fate.
Yeah. Second dragon is pushing power, I believe,
yes,
right now.
that does provide 25% extra damage towards minions and creeps.
Yeah, so this is what the name of the game is, Siege the Towers. And there's the flash into on top of the force. Now Ochi gets caught, and then the follow-up hook on the Stronger. Where's the damage for Team Wargods? There's nothing, because VYY is trying to run for his life. That was a double kill onto Jinky. Jinky's super low right now, but as you can see, JLC is trying to run for his life. Mayu gets the kill onto VYY, and that was a 4-for-0 exchange in favor of Team Ace's Fate.
So that's the power of the Ace's Fate Wombo combo. We saw it a bit earlier, but this is like the full extent of that. We saw Malphite flash in, use his unstoppable force, then we saw that Mayu was there with that paranoid to follow up on wherever Malphite landed, and Graves was indeed there as well with that collateral damage and that buckshot. And that was a really good hook by Akiho, getting that hook onto Akihu, getting that hook onto Stronger.
Yeah, the follow-up. And like we've said before in the ban and pick phase a while ago, that Team Ace's Fate isn't only a snowball team composition. They also have that tankiness with the snowball.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're really showing it right now. And like we've said before, Mayu's paranoia is really hindering Wargods from reacting fast enough.
Mayu's pretty strong performance on Nocturne, despite not seeing Nocturne that much. He's 709 right now. Has already picked up that Yanmu's and Hex Drinker, and that's a lot of damage coming in from Nocturne as well. That's pretty strong tankiness.
Paranoia, man, the mind games are real. As for Team Wargods, they haven't actually got their damage spikes, like you've said. You can see right now that Ochi already has finished his hourglass, but if he got that hourglass a bit earlier in the clash, I think they would have at least turned a kill for themselves.
Yeah, they definitely would have been able to negate some of the bursts coming in. And
but
BYY
but the JLC right now is opting to go for a Lichbane.
Is that Lichbane? He has picked up that cloth armor. I think that might be
either a Sheen
gauntlet.
and then yeah, might be. And now JLC is going on to Slay right now, but Slay is just so much damage coming out of him. Gets JLC. There's the missed unstoppable force right now. There's a lot of flashes happening right now, but Archie was able to kill Slay right there. There's the paranoia coming out of Maoyu, gets the kill onto Stronger right there, and there's a flash onto Jinky right now, and gives Maoyu the double kill. There's VYY, forced the flash out of him, gets the kill onto Lolita. Will he be able to get any more kills? There's the Zonias coming out of Jinky, and a triple kill by Maoyu.
And they burned so much trying to get that kill on Slay. However, Slay just managed to survive throughout all of that, and that just allowed Ace's Fate to just walk all over that team fight. They got the picks. So many ways to get the pick.
Yeah, that was a 2 for 4 exchange actually.
Yeah, and Ace's Fate will be able to pick up this turret, and the gold lead is once again further increased.
Like we've said before, Graves is the tanky ADR, man. If you don't respect his true grit, he will kick your butt.
Yeah, we did see that right there when he pretty much 1v2'd and almost got away with those 2 kills.
Yeah, if Archie wasn't there, he would have survived with his life. I can see right now, wardings coming in from both teams again. Ace's Fate does have a little bit of deep wards onto the jungle of War Gods. As for War Gods, only those defensive river wards I can see right now. And goal advantage wise, you can see that, oh my gosh, Slay already 10,600 net worth as compared to VYY's 9,000.
Yeah, and he has already picked up quite a bit of items currently. Already has that BF sword and that lifesteal scepter, going for that bloodthirster, providing a bit of more extra sustain and tankiness.
He gets more tanky with that item. You can see right now, Slay is just walking in front of VYY, but VYY says no.
Yeah, that was
I'm gonna give you a little bit of more damage.
Yeah, that was a really good rocket into
Fear me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rocket to the face.
Yes, and he's already picked up that Blade of the Rune King, so that's extra damage.
Yeah, so the Blade of the Rune King is it's a very good item for a Corki who's not super ahead into the game. It gives you the kite potential, gives you that active, which gives you the instant lifesteal. So it makes him a bit more let's just say a bit more sustaining.
Yeah, this is really important coming into this Ace's Fate team comp, as Corki needs to be able to like steal the movement speed and just run away from that Nocturne or from that Graves.
Yeah, but they do have the knock-up coming in from Jinky, and I haven't seen the Mikhail's Crucible finish yet from Stronger, so if VYY does get caught out, he won't be able to survive anymore, so he really needs to position as the win progresses.
Stronger,
he really needs to be the win.
Stronger is currently 2-7 right now, so he's been struggling to keep up with the Akihu. Already picked up that Solari as well as that Face of the Mountain, while Stronger just doesn't even have that Crucible yet.
Yeah, so Crucible is Challenge of Harmony with the
Forbidden Idol, I believe.
Yeah, Forbidden Idol. So it's almost there. So here comes the Paranoia onto VYY. VYY used the Valkyrie right there, but JLC, Skill, and Stronger are caught out here. Now they're fighting into that little small area. Lolita takes a lot of damage, forces the flash out of her. That was a 1-for-0 exchange. Now JLC forces to use that Rift Walk over the wall, and that was in favor of Ace's Fate. But there was a lot of ultimates burn from Team Ace's Fate. Will GameX War Gods try to re-engage? They can try to do this right now, be the aggressors, because they had the damage even without the ultimates.
Teleport coming in from JLC, and this might be a third dragon.
Ooh, you can see that now JLC is there. Oh, Archie gets caught out here. He does use the Zonias, but he was a little bit overextended right there. JLC was able to use a teleport and home guard boots into the fight, but he can't do anything.
So yeah, again, OG getting a bit too
over-aggressive,
impatient, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, if he waited for Skill and JLC to fully commit to that bot side, they might have been able to turn that up into another good trade for the War Gods team. However,
I guess he was, let's say he was a little bit pressured just because the Destiny, I think, was about timed out, and he wanted to use the ability, the teleport ability of it.
However, I feel like he could have set that Destiny a bit farther back and waited a bit for Skill to come, as well as JLC to come, rather than just walking in head first.
I can see right now, JLC and Stronger are warding the jungle area of Team Ace's Fate. Ooh, but you can see that the goal advantage is 7,000. There's Akihu putting a lot of damage onto JLC just with the flay right there. So Even though he's a tank, he does a lot of damage.
Yeah, that play does do a lot of damage. The passive on the play is really strong, letting you do magic damage on your auto attacks really hurts. And JLC doesn't really have any magic resist at the moment, only has that frozen gauntlet.
Yeah, you can see right now that Akihu has upgraded to that sweeper lens, so he can ward up as much as he wants. And now Team Asus Fate are starting this Baron, but Team Wargods are aware of this. Will they try to steal or re-engage on this Asus Fate team? There's a nice hook onto VYY there. Wow! There's the follow-up onto Stronger. Will Stronger die? Yes, he will. There's the kill onto him. Double kill onto Jinky right now. Slay is trying to go on JLC. JLC cannot fight Slay right now. And now Team Asus Fate re-engages with only 3 members of War Gods to re-engage. And that was a really amazing hook coming in from Akihu. Oh, she gets bursted down immediately. Skill uses the Dragon's Rage onto Jinky, but will he survive? There's the slow coming in from Lolita with the Seismic Shard. Force the flash out of Skill. And Skill will survive with his life. JLC bursts down with that buckshot. Now Skill's
dead.
Skill, will you die? Oh, he was able to use the mind games onto Jinky right there.
And yeah, what a really great play coming in from Aki. Getting that hook onto VIY really clutch.
Such a really clutch
There's
hook.
just so many up ways for Asus Fate to just engage a fight and get the pick onto you, and that was just one of them.
And that one of them gave them the BR and the 4-for-0.
Yeah, however, that was, I guess, in a way, more like it played to War God's favor, as it gave Skill a bit more time to get to that Baron Pit and try to get that steal. However, he was unable to do so.
True. But the risky plays aren't paying off for War Gods as of now. As you can see, there's already a 10,000 gold lead from Asus Fate against War Gods. Team item wise, oh my gosh, Slay is just did so much damage onto JLC right now.
Yes, they had a really dominant performance in game 1, and right now on that Graves, he's really dominant as well on that Graves. On the Kalista, I mean, in game 1.
You know what makes it worse? Slay has the Quicksilver sash already. So if ever someone tries to CC him, even with just a Dark Bind, he's able to survive that. And whoa! The damage from Slay onto VYY is real! He gets bursted down already. There's Hadoken minion back snipering that tier 3 middle inhibitor turn, and now they're going to get that inhibitor. There's the follow-up onto Ochi and Skill. Will Skill die? Yes, he will. And this might be a 3-4-0 exchange, actually 4-4-0 exchange, and now JLC is just roaming around endlessly right now. Will try to go to get the kill onto Mayo Yu, and he did get the shutdown kill, but I think this is the game.
Yeah, that's ace. This is the game actually, as there's like 10 seconds left. VYY won't be able to 1v for this, and they're slowly pushing those Nexus turrets, and that's it. Really good performance by Asus Fate.
So GameX War Gods are not disqualified, are taken out already of the GPL.
And Asus Fate will be progressing to that second round of group stages, along with Bangkok Titans. And yeah.
Wow, that was an insane match. I mean, early on they were War Gods got that let's say lane swap, and then they got the early bot tier 1, the kill, and then the dragon as well.
However, Asus Fate was once again able to turn it around with those great team fights coming in. The pick potential is just really strong. Seeing Nocturne and Malphite just flash in, and then you see Lissandra coming in from behind is just really amazing.
As you can see right now, here are the endgame stats. As per usual, Neep, break it down for us.
So yeah, we did see that the majority of the gold did came onto Slay. Slay was a really strong factor in coming into that game. 12-3-14 with the 228 CS, 15.4k gold. That is 4k above that VYY on that Corki.
Again, like we said before, Slay on the Graves has been really tanky. He was able to go against JLC and Skill, a 2v1, and he was winning. That's how Graves progressed really heavily into that game.
Yeah, and Nocturne was also a really big factor as well. 12-1-15, highest KDA coming out from the Asus Fate team. Really strong performance, getting all those smites down, really good ganks, and really great paranoias coming in.
Yeah, that paranoia was really a mind let's say a mind game for
Yeah.
Team War Gods, because they don't know where Ace's Fate will actually come in from. I mean, Lolita is just a really, let's say, a long range sniper with that Malphite of his flash in and then Unstoppable Force and then the follow Paranoia, and then Jinky with Lissandra just goes in from behind and then follows up, and that was it.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and I feel
Wow.
like game 1 affected War Gods mentally as they went into game 2, seeing as they had the entire game, but they just managed to
Yeah,
let
there's
it
like,
slip away.
yeah, I guess the pressure from like this is the last chance for us. If we don't get this, we're out of the GPL already.
And maybe the hype coming in for Ace's Fate, knowing that they only needed one more game to secure it to the next round.
Yeah. So guys, that was game 2 of set 2 with War Gods versus Ace's Fate of the Garena Premier League Spring Season 2015 Week 3 Day 3. That was a really nice matchup coming in from War Gods, also from Team Diamond.
Yes.
The both teams tried their best but weren't able to, with a I believe 0-2 again for both Philippine
both
teams. Yeah. So again, I can see right now, War God Diamond 0-2, War Gods 0-2. Yeah. So does Team Diamond still have a chance to get back into the GPL or not anymore?
I believe for the spring split they will.
Oh no,
they're
they
out
don't
of
have.
it.
Yeah, they're out of it anymore. Alright guys, so that's about it. Again, I would like to invite you to PGS Rift. Even though the GPL is done, PGS Rift still lives on, guys. There's a lot of action coming in there. Again, GTalk ID 171-888-11. Again, that's 171-888-11. Alright, so that's about it. To
Yeah,
introduce
that's
ourselves again, I am GS Asarai with an I, and again here with me, can you please, for the fans out there, do a Tagalog send-off. Please. The fans.
Ako si GS Sneep with the P. And
with
yeah,
and we are signing off.
thank you for watching.
Thank you.